Namaste, Swagatam, Vanakkam, Suswagatam we say in South India. A very hearty welcome back to this fire tent. And definitely I think some of the work we have been doing is paying off well, in that the sun god is blessing us. And so we should definitely keep in mind the Om Suryaya Namaha and thank him for blessing us. Because we had one day of experiencing what it is like when he takes a day off. And I believe sometimes we need to take a day off so people realize what we are doing. And the day that mom's not at home, one of those days, people suddenly realize what she's been doing all that time. I think it's good. So the sun was doing that, and now yesterday and today we have had wonderful weather, so it's nice. And even better than that is we have all of you back here with me, and such a pleasure to see so many of you here and faces that have become familiar over the last few days. How many are here for the first time? Okay. How many for the second time? Okay. And how many for the third time? Wow, okay. So that's nice. We have a beautiful combination there. And I should have put my hand up. I'm here for the third time. Because one of the beauty of teaching is that the best teachings happen when you move yourself out of the way. And as long as you are blocking it, saying, I am teaching, nothing comes through. That is one of the greatest lessons I've learned from my childhood, from my father, from my mother, who were amazing teachers, Swami Geetananda Giri and Ammaji Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani. And to be able to continue the work, keeping the tradition, the Geetananda tradition alive, a tradition that has a 2-page article in your booklet describing some of the facets of the teachings, and at the same time being able to take it into a modern medical community where I'm working as professor and director of a Center for Yoga Therapy Education Research in a modern medical university, where we are bridging, integrating yoga therapy with modern medicine. And some amazing stuff happening at our university. Yesterday we had an international workshop on holistic aspect of yoga in health and disease. And even though I wasn't there, they had a wonderful success. So as a team leader, you always feel happy when your team can have successes without you, and it's good for your ego. It's one of those ego-dectomy, keeping the asmita, ahankara out of the picture is something so good. Today we are going to be looking at the concept of relaxation and the relaxation response. And in order to understand the relaxation response, we need to understand the stress response. So as I said, we know about the sun when the sun is not there. So if you want to know about the relaxation response, you have to know the other side, which is the stress response. So I'll be focusing on the stress response, causes, manifestations, the yogic perspectives of it. We'll be focusing on the relaxation response and giving you a few tips on how you can make it happen. You can help it manifest in your own life. We will start with a prayer, as in the traditional way, and I request you to take up a position where you can be seated with your spine erect and aligned. A harmonious spine that enables the energies to flow up and down. That tool of the universe, the Brahma Danda. Letting your back, lower, middle and upper parts, the shoulders, the neck and the head be aligned. And just taking your mind inwards for a few seconds. Focusing on your body awareness. A beautiful tripod you have created with the base of your body, holding the edifice of your spine erect. And then begin to focus on the breath coming in and going out of you in a harmonious manner. The breath is the medium through which we can enhance our experience of prana. It is the medium of integration between the body and the mind. It is the bridge between the external and internal environments. The bahya and the antara or abhyantara, the externalized and internalized experiences being bridged by the breath. Be aware of the cool air coming in your nostrils and down the air passages. And be aware of the warm air heated up by the body metabolism coming up from the lungs and up the air passages and finally out the nostrils. Being aware of the breath, being mindful of it. When we are mindful of the breath, we can experience the flow of the prana through that physical and physiological mechanisms. The breath is the vehicle for the prana. Yato mana, tato prana. Where the mind goes, the prana flows. Being aware of the breath in a harmonious manner, let's now bring our mental focus to the midpoint between the eyebrows, the bhru madhya bindu, a focal point of consciousness where we can experience elevated states of consciousness by intense and one-pointed focus. And taking your mind a few inches within the skull, into the folds of the brain from this point, coming to a point that in yogic terminology would be called the Ajna Bindu, a Bindu within the Ajna Chakra, and at the physical level correlates with the hypothalamo-pituitary axis, the seat of our psychoneuroimmune and psychoneuroendocrine axis. Visualize a beautiful light within, a jyoti, and let that beautiful light expand outwards in a effulgent manner, filling your skull, the whole body, and out into the area surrounding you. A beautiful light without any sorrow or any suffering. Vishoka va jyotishmati. A jyoti that has no vishoka, that is not having shoka and is vishoka, beyond any suffering and disharmony. Bringing your hands to your chest in the Namaskar Mudra, harmonizing the right and left aspects of our being at the heart center, connecting with all beings around us, coming together in a beautiful state of oneness, a state of yoga. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidhyakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam padanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Om Tatparam Paryaya Vidmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guru Prachodayate Om Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Gently opening your eyes and awakening to the external light. This morning we are looking at the concept of relaxation response. And before we look at relaxation response, we need to understand what is a response, and we need to contrast it and compare it with reaction. So I want you to get two words in mind. One is reaction, the second is response. When we talk about reaction, it is instinctive behavior. Reaction is reflexive. For example, if you go to a doctor and they want to check your neurological system, they do what is called a checking of your knee-jerk reflex. And what is done is that we, with a soft hammer, not an iron hammer, we tap your patellar tendon and your quadriceps contracts and you do this. Now when I was training as a doctor, I had fellow students who used to do this standing in front of the person. Can you imagine what happens? So the first lesson is, if you are going to test somebody's reflexes, stand to the side. Don't be in front of them. Huh? Can you punch? Yeah. Huh? Can you kick? Yeah. Huh? And you know what? This knee-jerk reflex is actually one of the best examples of how we are living today. Plato's bipeds, featherless bipeds with flat nails. Huh? You like me, I like you. You hit me, I hit you. You poke me on Facebook, I poke you back. Huh? You didn't talk to me, I don't talk to you. Huh? You know all of this? There is no consciousness at all, no higher thinking at all. It is all you hit me, I kick you. You hit me, I kick you. It's all down at the reflexive, instinctive, reactionary, spinal cord level. Creatures who use the spinal cords, you know, those primitive creatures, long ago, we also have been through that. 8.4 million incarnations is what we say. 2.1 as born of slime, bacteria and viruses. Yes, we have been there, done that. 2.1 million from eggs. Yes, done that. 2.1 million from seed. Been there, done that. And 2.1 million from the womb. Well, we have done a lot of that and we are still doing that. Okay? And you know, those primitive creatures, which those tendencies, they are the samskara vasanas that we talk about, are part and parcel of our subconscious, unconscious, instinctive, reflexive behavior. And so just as a snake will hiss at you and goes, and a dog, if you get close to it and try to take its bone, it goes, rah! You know, that type of stuff. And if you put your head in a lion's mouth, what does it do? Thank you, God. It says grace and has you, okay? That one. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with a dog being a dog. Nothing wrong with a cat being a cat. Nothing wrong with a snake being a snake. When we humans are behaving like cats, dogs, snakes, I think that's when the question comes, are we really human beings or have we forgotten to be human? So this is all the reflexive, reactionary behavior. Now you come up from the spinal cord to the brain stem, it is the part that keeps you alive. In yoga, we talk about one of the kleshas, one of the inborn errors of perception. In medicine, we have inborn errors of metabolism. Phenylketonuria and all of that. This is an inborn error of perception where our perception is warped right from day one. No wonder whenever people say, in my considered opinion, it means definitely they are totally colored in the opinion. Totally prejudiced. It means all the stuff they have been taught from childhood has influenced them. All the experiences have influenced them and they have come to a conclusion that definitely is totally warped by the kleshas, by the likes and dislikes that are based on the ego that comes when you don't know who you are. Avidya, asmita, leading to raga, dvesha and abhinivesha, the survival instinct that keeps it all going. Even in the most learned, wise people who should know better, vidusho api, Patanjali says, even in the people who have that highest intellect, even they get caught in the survival instinct. That's the brainstem. And that is the place where the whole stress response starts. You're not going to find that in too many textbooks, okay? Huh? The stress response starts in the brainstem because the brainstem, its only job is to keep us alive. It doesn't care whether you have a life or a wife or not. Huh? What it wants is for you to stay alive at any cost, even if you are going to be in a bed for the next 45 years of your life. All it wants to do is keep you alive by making sure you can breathe, respiration, your blood is circulation, and your food can digestion. Respiration, circulation, digestion is all that the brainstem cares about. And that is where Abhinivesha is there. Again, we share it with all the snakes and cobras and the alligators and the turtles. We share it with all of them. Then comes the next part of your brain, which is the more newer part, the mammalian brain. So the first one, the spinal cord and brainstem, is reptilian complex. We share with the reptiles. The next part is the mammalian, which is where the limbic system comes in. The middle part of the brain where all these emotions come in, and you have the hippocampus. This hippocampus is where you have this primitive memory that just has a very vague picture that somebody was white, black, green, blue, had horns, had a tail, didn't have horns, didn't have a tail, was tall, short, fat, whatever. It was dark, it was in a country that looked like the UK, it was in a country that looked like India. It has just a vague memory, it doesn't have the fine details. And this is where all those memories from your whole lifetime are stored in such a vague way that whenever you come into a situation that is remotely similar, meet someone who is remotely similar to that, it says, oh my God, you are in trouble, you may not survive. And the limbic system comes in, and the amygdala, anger, rage, emotions, sexual violence, well, all of that comes from that limbic system, okay? And what happens? He said that. How dare he say it? He keeps on saying it. He's always said it. His whole family says it. In married couples, the worst one is when, you and your family are like this. And, that's where it really becomes tough to get people together. Huh? All of you in your family are like this, and, like as if your family is better. You can hear the earthquake, as the ground splits between people. Huh? It's all the hippocampus. It's remembering all this stuff in such a vague way. It forgets that you were actually helping them. It thinks you were harming them when you were helping them. Then comes the next part. So that is the mammalian brain. Like, dislike, play, hate, all that. The raga dvesha is very much there. And then you come to the prefrontal cortex. Remember we were doing the. We'll do it again because I know you all love it. The only reason you are back is for that, okay? Huh? Right? I know that. Right. So we are going to illumine ourselves. This prefrontal cortex is where we start to truly become human. We have an opportunity to be human, manifest our humanity. This is the place. And this is where you have the freedom of choice. You have viveka. You have the power to know what is, what isn't, what to be, what not to be. Hamlet didn't have that working. Huh? And that is why he was to be or not to be. He should have taken up yoga. Huh? He would have gone out and done something. When you don't know what to be or what not to be, do something and get out of that merry-go-round that never stops. And it keeps going faster and faster and faster, and in that whirlpool, the chitta vrittis, the whirlpool that pulls you by your toes, and before you know what's happening, you're at the bottom. That is why we need awareness. Winston Churchill made that statement. He said, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. The price of freedom in the yogic path is also eternal vigilance. You have to be constantly vigilant of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and the choices you make. It makes you more human. That is why Viveka is here. And to make the right choice, you have to have objectivity, which again is from here, that is Vairagya. So both Viveka and Vairagya, objectivity, that is Vairagya, and or metacognition, in a, if you want to sound a bit more nice, metacognition, okay? It sounds like you know a bit more than you know, okay? We do that a lot in medicine. You know, we have these fancy terms that nobody else will know, and so they think we know a lot. It's just a crazy short form of something, okay? Metacognition is vairagya, where you can see yourself as if you are somebody else. You have that objectivity. It is here. Now, this is part where the human complex comes in, the human brain comes in. Now, if you are not using this, and you are only based on your reptilian and mammalian complex, you are constantly going to be reacting. All your actions, words and deeds and thoughts are going to be reflexive, and everything is going to be instinctive. The moment this comes into play, suddenly you can make a choice not to hit somebody and just walk away. Not to get irritated by what they are doing and say, forgive them, Father, they don't know what they are doing. That great man had a lot of prefrontal cortex. And he used it. Imagine being nailed up and to be able to say, forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. I would be saying, ouch, okay? Imagine what an amazing conscious being. That is why my father and our whole tradition has never had an issue with considering Christ as a yogi. He was a yogi for sure. He had that capacity. Now what happens after that is different story. Power, money, politics, that comes into every place, every institution. And the danger today is yoga has become institutionalized. And again you have that same issue. Power, money, politics. Anyway, I'm not here to give a political speech. But that is what gets my stress response going, okay? When I think about the sad state at times. Spirituality is your own journey. You don't need a middleman or a middle woman for that. That's the bottom line. People can guide you, people can help you, but you have to do it yourself. Yoga is the best do-it-yourself kit. Nobody can do it for you. We have to do it for ourselves. If I want to know what a pizza tastes like in the World Yoga Festival, I have to eat it. If somebody else eats it, I don't know what it's like. If I want to know what the wonderful coffee is like, I have to drink it. If you want to know what my class is like, you have to be here. See, you can. It's always important to have that experience directly in it. Now, coming back to the stress response, what happens is that we have a stimulus come into us. That stimulus comes in, and even before it goes up to the brain, you already are having reactions, you're having reflexes, already doing something even before you know what you're doing. And that is why we end up sending those emails that we should never have sent. And then regret it. So you go on Gmail and Yahoo, you now have a 15-second opportunity. How many of you know about that? Okay, I have it on for the last few years. And it saved my life on numerous occasions. Every month, at least half a dozen times, I save myself because I would have sent an email and I'm like, oh my God, undo. It's still 15 seconds. I wish it were like, an hour. And the best one is you sleep over it, because when you sleep, you know what happens? That stimulus can travel into your brain, get to the human brain, have a nice analysis, and in the morning you get up and you're like, why was I so worked up about that? But in this modern day and age with our communication, or rather instant miscommunication, even before the other person's message has been read by us fully, we are already responding with, who are you? How dare you? As if you are better. We have already gone into that defensive mode, which is the abhinivesha, which is the survival instinct that says, if I let you be right, I am gone. It becomes a threat. And that is why the whole stress response is based on survival. And that is why the sympathetic nervous system, what it does is, it is sympathetic to you. Everybody thinks it's bad. Sympathetic nervous system is sympathetic to you, and it wants to keep you alive. It's your friend, okay? If you're in the middle of the street and a huge lorry, a truck is coming towards you, it is going to be the nervous system that's going to get you to jump out of the way and save your skin at that moment. Bruce Almighty, Jim Carrey in the middle of the street, And the truck runs him over and he gets to God and he says, why didn't you save me? And God says, the least you could have been doing is, staying out of the middle of the road. Huh? It is sympathetic to you. It keeps you alive. If suddenly there's a fire, it gets you to run away or put the fire out. Fight or flight. If you see a snake, you're like, oh my God, either run away or the usual human response, kill it. Not human, subhuman. And the human response, find someone who can translocate it to its natural habitat. 3 options. The humane approach is translocation, because you have made a thought, you have had a thought, a conscious thought, you have had the discernment to know that it is not the snake's fault, it is our fault that we are in the snake's territory. There was a cartoon from Canada some time back of a forest with a nice bear standing there on all fours. You know that? Yeah. And then the next scene is people coming and cutting the forest, the bear is still standing there. The next one is someone building a house, the bear is still standing there. And the fourth one is someone, a human being in the house saying, hey, bear in my house! The bear has been there all the time. It's we who have gone on to its habitat, and then we say, there's a bear in my house. Huh? There's a snake in my house. Yeah, you have built your house where the snake's habitat is. Anyway, that's a different part. That's where response comes in. So the difference between reaction and response is a small gap, the base of your spine to the prefrontal cortex. That's all. That's the distance. And that distance enables objectivity, metacognition, and you make an informed conscious choice, which then classifies as a response, because you have reflected on it. It's a reflective action as opposed to a reflexive action. And I'm being very conscious so that I don't mix those words up. They're too big. You're reflecting upon it. Self-reflection. Swadhyaya. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the right thing to do? What is the correct, appropriate choice at this moment? And that is where you follow your dharma. You are following the purpose for which you are there. Doing the right thing for the right person at the right place, in the right time, in the right manner. When everything falls together, you are fulfilling your dharma or what you are to do at that time. And we as a human being have a human dharma, a manushya dharma, which means to be human and live as a human being. That is where this comes in. So what can you do? Whenever there is one of these negativities coming in, Patanjali calls them vitarka. Vitarka means anything that is against the yama niyama. So you take all the 10 yama niyama, the 5 yama, the 5 niyama, the opposite of it. So ahimsa, the opposite is himsa. So violence becomes a vitarka. It's a deviant thought. You are deviating from being human. Huh? Vitarka himsadaya is how Patanjali defines it. Those negativities, when they come in, when you have this type of thing, a stimulus comes in and you say, I'm just going to, you don't even say I'm going to punch the person, you punch them and then you wonder why. And then you justify it by saying he deserved it. Huh? That's how you justify it. You do it and then you think about it. Because what has happened, you have acted by a reactionary. You have been a reactive species and not a reflective species. Human beings should be a reflective and not a reactive species. But what happens at gap? How can you get through that gap? 1, sleep over it. That is why sleep is very good. 2nd, take a deep breath. What do they say? Take a deep breath and count to 10. Absolute beautiful wisdom. The moment you take a deep breath and you count to 10, what has happened? You have given a space, a distance in which reflex can change and can be converted into response. Reaction gets converted to response when there is a gap. And Viktor Frankl, such a wonderful man, another yogi actually, he may not have done any pranayama or asana, but he was definitely a yogi. Viktor Frankl says, in the gap between stimulus and response lies choice. That choice comes from the prefrontal cortex. So the more we are working with the prefrontal cortex, we are responding, the less stressed we are going to be. The more we are reacting, the more stressed we are going to be, because we are constantly creating stuff that we are like, why the hell did I do this? Instead of doing the right thing, oh my God, why did I do that? Now what do I do to justify it? How am I going to manage this? I made an enemy, now what do I do? I sent the wrong email, I made the wrong Facebook post. What do I do about it now? How do I get it off the social media? How do I get it? You cannot take back the email, that's the problem. That's why that 15-second gap is useful. To change between reaction and response. So this is why the choice of breathing in and holding to the count of 10, what were you doing? You were making a choice to do it. Where does choice come from? Prefrontal cortex. You get what I'm saying? And that is why that ability to step back, because most people are like this, they're living on the edge. And the simplest issue, they fall down. And then they say, who can I blame? What does yoga say? Don't be on the edge, take a step back. If you're balanced, it's going to be very difficult for someone to throw you off balance. But if you're already here, and somebody just goes this, you fall. Because what has happened? You don't have that balance. And where does that balance lie? In the midline. Balance is neither to the right extreme or to the left extreme. Balance lies in the middle. Have you seen, nowadays they don't have those old model seesaws. Nowadays you have these spring models, which are just, seriously. Health and safety. I'm like, seriously. Spring model seesaws. I'm like, yes. You cannot use that example in the younger generation anymore. They don't know what it is. We know what it is, okay, right? When this is down, this is up. Imbalanced. When this is down, this is up. Imbalanced. This is where balance is. Right? So when you are in your left brain all the time, your left brain is constantly trying to say, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? It is calculating every moment what you can get. How can I use this person, misuse them, abuse them? All that is left brain. It is constantly thinking, what can I get? What can I do? Calculation. It is locked in the box. It is survival based. Left brain. Right brain, it says, what can I give? Now, if you can meet people and the first thought that comes to you is, what can I give to them? Congratulations, you're already on the path to being a yogi. But if your first thought is, what can I get from them? You need to make a few more steps, okay? A few extra steps have to be made. You have to shift from getting to giving. The more you focus on what can I get, the more chances of being disappointed, more chances of discontent, and from discontent comes stress. The more contented you are, that is why the niyama, santosha, is the key to relaxation. When you have contentment, you have relaxation. When you are discontent, you have stress. And what does the modern advertising agency want us to have? Discontent. A contented human being is a threat to the advertising media. Because you don't want more. You're happy with what you have. Oh my God, how dare you be happy? I watched a spoof last night of somebody coming to London and terrorizing London by saying hello to people. Dr. Ananda terrorizes London by smiling at people. Lock him up. How dare he smile at us and say hello? Imagine how locked we are in ourselves. So stress response is all about the perception of a threat. When do I feel threatened? When I feel duality. That is, from duality comes fear. And from fear comes stress. If I come into this tent and say, I'm going to have these wonderful loving people here, do you think I'm going to be stressed about it? Yes or no? No. But if I come here and say, what if somebody throws rotten eggs at me? What if somebody is bringing stones to slingshot at me? What if somebody sets me on fire in the fire tent? Because they think somebody should be on fire. Metaphorically on fire, not Don't take it literally. Huh? What will happen to me? I come in here and I'm like, oh my God. And I get stressed. Stress comes when you have a sense of duality. Now, if your child, for all of you who are parents, if your child does well in something, do you feel jealous of them? I hope not. Huh? If your child does extremely well, you are proud of them, you are happy, endorphins, enkephalin, serotonin, dopamine, all is being secreted and you are like, on cloud 9. But what happens when it's some other child? Because it's somebody else's child. And especially if that child is seen as a competitor to your child. What happens to us? Suddenly, that person must have cheated. They must have cozied up to the teacher. Huh? They must have bribed the teacher. Huh? There must be some mistake. Huh? What has happened? Because that person is seen as a threat because it is somebody else. And that is why love thy neighbor as thyself came in. But what happens when you don't love yourself? Isn't that a very difficult one? A lot of people have a lot of self-hate because they don't accept themselves. They don't have self-acceptance. Then it becomes a bit difficult. It's like when you tell people, make yourself at home. Be careful about that one. They make a mess. Huh? Be yourself. It means the best you, okay, not the worst you. What happens is the moment we feel threatened, the survival instinct comes in and immediately the stress response, they call it the stress response, I call it the stress reaction. I will never accept that it's a response, but my physiology professor always says, no, it's a response because, blah, 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 blah happens. And fine, in the books it says it, but it's not a response because there is no consciousness, there is no choice in it at all. The moment you perceive something as stressful, your limbic system starts to go round and round and round and round. One of those faster and faster things. Immediately the hypothalamus, this puny little hypothalamus which is sitting there just below it. And it's very interesting when you look at the anatomy of this region. You have this limbic system and just under it you have this little hypothalamus. And it's as if I'm in the center and everybody around me is saying, hey, woo, woo, like that. What happens? You're like, oh my God, what's going wrong? And the poor hypothalamus says, oh my God, something's wrong. And it starts to squirt its hormones, influencing the pituitary. The pituitary, that next person says, oh my God, something's wrong. It starts to squirt its hormones. Those go down to the adrenal. The adrenal says something is wrong. It starts to squirt the cortisol for the chronic stress and the adrenaline, noradrenaline for the acute stress. And suddenly you become something you are not. Have you seen people when they are stressed? They are not themselves anymore. It's amazing what it does to the person. A teaspoon of adrenaline and what it does to the person. Heart rate goes up, the chest is pounding. The breathing becomes fast. The eyes open up wide so that they can see better. Like that wolf told in that story. See, I can see you better. Eyes open up wide. Blood pressure goes up, blood sugar goes up. Your muscles start to get more blood because either you're going to fight somebody or you're going to run away from there. And the stress response comes in the sympathetic nervous system. All the sympathetic nervous system effects in stress are to either fight or to run away. That's what they're geared towards. So when you are being threatened by a tiger and are running away from the tiger, are you really bothered about whether your food is getting digested or not? So what happens to the digestive system in stress? It goes down. When you are running from the tiger and you don't know whether you will have another day to live, are you going to think about sex at that time? Hopefully not. Any last wishes, the tiger says. Reproductive system goes down. So if you look at the whole stress response that the sympathetic nervous system brings into play, it is to either help you run away or fight it, And anything that doesn't help you run away or fight is put on the back burner. Very simple to understand the physiology of the stress response. Now what happens? Either you have fought that tiger and been that heroic human to defeat the tiger with bare hands. I don't think it's ever happened. Maybe Tarzan can do it, but he also needs a knife. Or you have run away, climbed a tree, and the tiger got tired waiting for breakfast and it walked away. Now things can come back to normal. And this is where the parasympathetic nervous system comes into play. And this is where that famous vagabond vagus comes in, because the vagal nerve comes all the way from your brain and it goes all the way down into your abdominopelvic region. It supplies everything, and it is the one who has to keep the balance. And it has to restore everything to normal. So what does it do? Everything that went up with the stress response, the heart rate, the blood pressure, the blood sugar, all of that, what it starts to do, it starts to bring it down. And those two things which were not working with the stress response, digestion and reproduction, are enhanced by the parasympathetic. It's as simple as that. The parasympathetic nervous system wants to help you rest, digest and heal. Rest, digest and heal. The sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, escape. The parasympathetic is where you heal. And this is why it is so important for us to start working on relaxation, because we are always stressed. And you know, the toughest part is when people lie down for relaxation, they're stressed about whether they're relaxing or not. Huh? Let go! That's all. As someone was saying yesterday, I think it was Ram was telling us, let go of the ball and it will drop on its own. You don't have to drop the ball. We say we drop the ball, but it's gravity doing the job. You are just letting go. The moment you let go, nature will heal. The moment you let go, the universe will help you. It's called Ishvara Pranidhana, one of the niyamas. It's all about letting go. I like to say Patanjali gave two tools for sadhana. He said one is abhyasa, the second is vairagya. One is abhyasa, one is vairagya. Abhyasa is like this accelerator on your car. Vairagya is like the brake. Simple. If you are in your garage and you want to get out of there, what do you have to press? Accelerator. So that you move. So when you are doing nothing and you want to start doing something, abhyasa comes in. But if you keep on pushing the accelerator, what will happen? You will go and ram into the neighbor's house. You will go into a wall. So you need to also put the brake so that you stop when you need to stop. And you need to know when to stop, and that is where vairagya comes in, metacognition comes in. You know when the brake is to be applied. And how do you drive in a smooth, steady manner? By the interplay of accelerator and brake as appropriate, guided by your conscious choice at that moment, by being aware and conscious of where you are, what is happening, and what needs to be done. I just given you a driving lesson. Abhyasa is that accelerator. Vairagya is the brake. And the interplay between it, because too much of abhyasa, you run right through the goal. And you end up, running into the wall instead of stopping. Too much of vairagya, you go no place. So it has to be abhyasa and vairagya. What is abhyasa? It is the sympathetic nervous system. What is vairagya? Parasympathetic nervous system. Abhyasa is the do part. Vairagya is the let go part. And the Bhagavad Gita, one of the seminal texts of yoga, can be condensed into a simple message. Do your best and leave the rest. Do your best, leave the rest. And people are wonderful. I'm leaving the rest. Nothing's happening. I'm like, have you do your best first? That the first part of it is do your best. And we don't want to do the best. We are just leaving the rest. It's like trying to win a lottery when you haven't even gone to the trouble of buying the ticket. At least you should make the effort to buy the ticket, okay, if not anything else. Do your best and then leave the rest. And that is why activation has to precede deactivation for balance to occur. In the relaxation response, if the whole day you have not been doing anything and you want to relax, it's going to be very tough. Because you have not earned it. You have not done anything. There's not been any activation. And that is why you always in your yoga practice work on activation and then deactivate. So at the end you are in a state of balance. And this is why a conscious effort to do the practices on the right side. When you use your right side of the body, which brain are you working on? Left brain. When you work on the left side of the body, which brain are you working? Right brain. I think you are starting to sleep. When you work on your right side of the body, which brain are we using? Left. Which side? Left. I didn't hear you. Left. Okay. And when we work on the left side, which brain? Right. Okay. That is good on the first attempt. You see, you are amazing, okay? You are definitely awake. So when you do some practice, say you do an asana which has right and left sides to it, and you do the right first, what are you doing? Working with left brain. Left brain is like the sympathetic nervous system. Okay? And then when you do on the left, you are working with the right brain, which is like the parasympathetic nervous system. So what are you doing? Sympathetic followed by parasympathetic. Activation followed by deactivation. What have you come to in the end? Balance. Very, very important. And that is why when you want to be active, we said do right nostril breathing. When you want to deactivate, left nostril breathing. Very beautiful practices that are there. Now, if you want to bring in this relaxation response, when you want to help yourself relax, we have to learn to let go. And how do we let go? Well, we have done it for the last 2 days, but let's again do it for those who came in today. Can we all stand up? We are going to let go of all that is stressing us so that we can clear it out and feel better, so that then whatever we do will have better effects. So we are going to work on the abdominal area, the mid-chest and the upper chest neck regions, then the survival instinct, then the prefrontal cortex where the choice lies, and then we are going to be throwing things out and letting go. If I say I'm letting go, can you see I'm letting go, letting go, letting go? Am I? Am I letting go? No. Am I letting go? Yes. Right? As simple as that. And we are like, see how good I am at letting go. And I'm like, okay. You're holding on to the fact that you are good at letting go. You have to even let go of that, okay? Fine. So let's come back to this. Ready? Are you with me? Yes. Are you with me? Yes. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. He, he. Me, me. Di. Go, 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 go. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. He. Me. Di. Go, 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 go. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. He. Me. Di. Go, 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 go. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. He. Me. Di. Go, 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 go. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. He. Me. Di. Go, 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 go. Huh? Just look at all of you smile now. Huh? You have lost a pound of weight. Huh? The weight of stress. Huh? We get burdened. Have you seen people when they're stressed how they walk? They become so heavy. It's not the physical weight. It's the weight of the stress. You get bogged down by it. So let's do something to get rid of that. Let's just bounce on our toes. Try to feel a sense of lightness as you do it. Excellent. Okay, now stop. Now what we are going to do is we are going to again use the sound ha to let go of the stress. And the one place where stress really hits us is the navel center. And that is why stress is not just the brain in your skull, but the gut brain. Nowadays, there's a lot of talk about the gut brain. It plays a very, very big role in stress. So we need to understand that this is the lunar brain. This is the solar brain. And at the base of your spine, you have the earth brain. The Kanda, where the Kundalini is said to be, is the earth brain. So when you sit down in the seated postures on a natural surface, you are grounding yourself. People today are ungrounded. And it's like having an electrical connection where the grounding wire has gone off and you start to have these electrical shocks. We need to be grounded. The grounding wire is down at the base of the spine. So this solar plexus is where we connect with the universe, our mother universe. And so what we do is that we do a very simple practice where I'm going to do it jumping. So what we are going to do is that we are going to jump with the legs slightly apart and the hands to the side. So make sure you're not going to hit anybody, because if you poke somebody in the eye, they're going to be stressed and you're going to be stressed. Okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to be doing that. Now when we do it, we are going to be making the sound of ha. Okay? Then we are going to breathe in and come. Then we are going to again jump. See, if you have problems with jumping, if there's a back problem, hip problem, you can just do this like ha. Okay? If you want to jump, you can go ha. So I leave it to your personal choice. The thing is that what you are doing is you are opening up. You are letting go. This is holding on. This is letting go. This is strengthening. This is developing the courage to face the stress and say that I want to let go. The second one is you jump with the hands in front. So it is ha. So first one, the hands to the side, then hands to the front, and then the third one is the hands coming up. So the practice I'll just show you once. Ha, ha, ha. Okay? Very simple. And what you are doing is that you are working on the solar plexus. All these are opening up. You are creating a sense of openness. You are creating a sense of expansiveness. Remember, poison in a cup will kill the individual. Poison in the cup kills the individual. That same amount of poison in a society's water supply kills the bacteria and viruses and makes the water fit for consumption. When the stress is only yours, it's going to kill you. When the stress is shared in society, it may make society a healthier society. It may become eustress. And then you put that poison in the ocean, it does nothing because it is so infinite. So when your stress is shared with the universe, nothing exists anymore. There's no stress anymore. So what we are doing is expanding out of this limited me into the bigger we and going out into the universe. Okay? So let's see how we can do this. Ready? Breathe in. And again you are breathing. Out. Ha! Wow, you all are amazing. Breathe in. Out. Ha! In. Out. Ha! Excellent. Come back to the standing. Now, because you're all doing so well, we'll go to level 2. You know video games? Yeah, level 2. Now what we do is that we are going to do both the hands. Then we are going to do right, left, right, left, right, and left. Got that? And then we do both. And you know what we are going to do? Left, right, left, right, left, and right. And I trust your intelligence. So I am not going to be mirroring because I want to help myself while helping you. If you do right, left, it is activation, deactivation, balance. And if as a teacher I am doing left, right, I am doing deactivation, activation leading to imbalance. I don't want to go out of this room stressed and imbalanced. Fine? So I trust you. So just listen to the verbal cues, okay? Verbal cues are another way we can understand it. So get ready. In, out. Ha! In, out. Ha! In, out. Ha! Now the right side. In, out. Ha! Now the left. In, out. Ha! The right. In, out. Ha! In, out. Ha! Now in, out. Ha! In, out. Ha! Now the both sides. In, out. Ha! In, ha! In, ha! Now the left. In, ha! In, right. Ha! In, left. In, right. in, left, in, right. And now, ha, 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 ha. Okay, you got it. Huh? You can all now sit down. You have earned it.
Doctor, do you want to ask if anybody wants to come in? We've got a few people out the back.
Yeah. You okay? Everybody's alive? What we just did now is an activation practice. Yeah?
When you do it, do you always have to finish with the right brain?
No, you can finish with both. With both you can finish. When you finish with both, it's another opportunity for the right and left brain to connect to each other. Because if you are totally in the left brain, there's nothing right about it. And if you are totally in the right brain, there's nothing left. Okay, so we need balance. Yoga is balance. Samatvam yoga uchate. Equanimity, harmony, balance is yoga. Yoga doesn't want you to be only in the right brain or only in the left brain. It wants you to have balance and choose which brain should be doing activity at what time. Which is why if you saw the ancient yogis, they would have what is called a yoga danda under the armpit. It wasn't just to pose for Instagram, the cosmic Instagrams. If the yogi had the yoga danda under the right armpit, he was opening his left nostril, which means his right brain was active, so he was sitting for contemplation, meditation, and nobody should disturb him. If he had the yoga danda under the left side, he was working on opening the right nostril, which means his left brain. So you could come and ask Guruji, Swamiji, I have this problem. You could ask all your relationship issues, financial issues, physical issues to the Guru. My father used to say that he had not heard a spiritual question in a long time. People come to the Guru with all these questions. They should go to the lawyer, the financial advisor. It was interesting what he used to say about that. But the Guru is ready with his left brain ready. Left brain is the analytical part. Left brain is the part that can deal with the day-to-day activities. But the right is the part that can see the bigger picture. So when you want to be de-stressed, when you want to relax, just sitting, and let's do that for a few moments. Guiding you through this for a few moments. Closing the right nostril. Only the left nostril we are going to do to deactivate. We have done the physical activity of activation. Now we are deactivating. Breathing out. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let your hands relax to the lap. Just a few seconds of contemplation by breathing in and out through the left nostril in a conscious manner. You have been using your prefrontal cortex to alter the brainstem activity. The higher centers have been altering the lower centers activity. The conscious part of you has been guiding the unconscious, subconscious part. And when you do the left nostril, it is called Chandra Nadi Pranayama, or sometimes in short just Chandra Pranayama. Working on the right brain, deactivating, relaxing, and inducing a parasympatho-mimetic effect An effect of parasympathetic nervous system of relaxation, rest, digest, recuperate and heal. Excellent. Now, one of the reasons why we get stressed is that we are faced with divergent perspectives. And we get stressed when somebody has an opinion that is divergent to ours. Somebody says something that is divergent to what we know. Immediately we are like, oh my God, they must be wrong. Or the second thing is, if they are wrong, if they are right, I must be wrong. And you start, oh my God, which one of it is? And you have got into your stress. Divergent perspectives induce stress. Because we are often like the horses, with their blinkers on. And people have such a limited perspective, I tell you seriously. It is so limited, anything beyond this threatens them. It could be political opinions, it could be religious affiliations, it could be societal questions, it could be dietary choices. Oh my God, the conflicts that come, the stress that comes. And you know what that is like? It's like people, imagine I came in here and I'm like here, okay? And I'm like, this is so bad. Nobody has shown up for my class today. Such, oh my God, seriously, am I so bad? And they all hate me so much. The universe has chosen to kill me. And nobody has shown up. Not a single person except me. Huh? And then I suddenly look up, I'm like, oh my God, all of you are here. I'm not alone. What have I done? I have enlarged my perspective from this to this. I have changed the way I look at life, and suddenly I'm not alone, I'm not lonely. I'm not threatened anymore because I realize that others are there. The universe is there for me. But what happens is we are so limited. So one of the beautiful practices to help us become unlimited, we talked about universal unlimited. We are not individual private limited, we are universal unlimited. That's what we are. Is to change our perspective. Rather than just be one perspective, we start to turn our head to the right. And I'm like, oh my God, all of you are here. Wow, wonderful, thank you. I come back. And then I'm like, wow, all of you are here. This is so wonderful. Thank you. And then I'm looking up, wow, beautiful tent with stars. Look at that. Wow. And then I look down and, hey, nice floor and my legs have a nice place to be. Thank you. What I've done is when I move my head to the four directions, I am enhancing my perspective rather than just this all the time. And the moment I do this, I start to realize things are much bigger and wider and grander and wholesome than I thought. I am changing. Now what we do is this movement, we do it in tune with the breathing. So as we breathe in, we move the head away. And as we breathe out, we bring the head back. As we breathe in, the head away. As we breathe out, the head back. As we breathe in, the head goes up. As we breathe out, the head back to the center. As we breathe in, the head comes down to the chin touching the sort of the sternum. And then as we breathe out, coming back. So each time we are moving, the physical movement, the physical body is used to do a physiological movement, Annamaya Pranamaya, doing it mindfully, Manomaya, in tune with the breath. The breath is the link between the mind and the body. So the moment I breathe in and I breathe out, I am doing a psychosomatic harmonizing, mind-body harmonizing practice. And as I have said a few times earlier, let's not call them yogic exercises. Let's call them yoga techniques or yoga practices. That word exercise has that externalized connotation. These are techniques or practices of yoga. And every practice in yoga, it doesn't matter whether you're turning your head, lifting your hand, lifting your leg, whatever you're doing. If you do the physical movement with mindfulness and in tune with your breath, you are bridging the mind-body divide. It doesn't matter what the practice is. And every tradition has its huge plethora of practices that can be used. And the moment the breath is used, psychosomatic harmony. Now we add to that. Because what is happening is that when we go away, each time I'm going away from my perspective to which I'm attached, and then I'm coming back to my perspective. So 4 times I've gone away from my perspective, but 4 times what have I done? I've come back to my perspective. So I am strengthening my perspective, but my perspective now has other perspectives as part of it. Can you understand what we have done? It is not we are altering our mind, it's not we are altering our perspective, we are still in our perspective. But our perspective is not limited to me anymore, it is about we. And when the I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. When we can expand from individual out into universal, the stress comes down. Poison in the cup, poison in the well, poison in the ocean. Same thing. And then we are using the next aspect, which is of sound. So we use 4 sounds here. When I move to the right, I breathe in. As I come back, I make a guttural sound of open-mouthed guttural sound. When I turn to the left, I breathe in. Coming back, I make a sound of ooh. The lips come together. Ooh is the lips coming together here. Then I breathe in and I stretch up. As I breathe out, I make a sound E. The sound is E. E. As in making a nice photo, go E so that the photo looks good. And then you come down, and as you come back up, it's the sound of 3 of the sounds, A, U, and E, are vowels. The vowels are always uplifting. The vowel sounds are very useful for people who have sleep apnea. It is used in sound-based therapies where the vowel sounds are helping in sleep apnea. Vowel sounds are uplifting. So you are uplifting yourself, and then what is doing? Is a sound of satiety. If I say, how was your food? Was the experience good? That is a sound of satiety. It is a sound of contentment. It is a sound of balance. So we are ending with that where we are having a contentment in our perspective that now has been strengthened and expanded to include other divergent perspectives. Okay? So we are going to do this practice. It's called Brahma Mudra, and this Brahma Mudra should be done from any any posture where you are in the sitting posture. You can take up the posture as per your convenience. Takes a few minutes, but this is one of the best practices for the back, the neck, the shoulder, because it strengthens and helps the neck become healthy. And if your neck is healthy, you will be more responsive. How? Because all the sensory nerves from your body come to the brain through the neck, and all the motor nerves coming down from the brain to the body come through the neck. So if your neck is healthy, that bridge is a good bridge. The sensory motor information can travel without getting distorted. So instead of reacting, you are going to be responding. Fine? Your hands can be in any position, but again, I like to use this Yoga Mudra. Yoga Mudra is a gesture where you are uniting. What are you uniting? The right half and the left half. So when the right and left half comes together, right and left brain are being united. Activation, deactivation is being united. Sympathetic, parasympathetic is getting balanced. Beautiful thing. But what I am doing is I keep the right thumb dominant. So the right fingers are dominant. The reason is I want to be balanced, but I don't want to be dead. Because death is also balance. Okay? But you don't want to be dead. You want to be alive. You want dynamic balance. So we want to be balanced, but ready to respond. And so it is like you have 49% right brain, but 51 left brain. If it's 50-50, you are Hamlet. Okay? 49 on the right, 50, or 48, 52. So that you are balanced, but you are ready to respond. You are in a dynamic state of health and balance. Okay? Make sure your spine is as erect as possible. Breathing out. Now turning to the right as you breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathing out with the sound. Turning to the left as you breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathing out. Breathing in and lifting your chin up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out. And then breathing in and lowering the chin to the chest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathing out. Again to the right, breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out. To the left, breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lifting the chin up as you breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, letting the chin come down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathing out. A third and last time, breathing in to the right. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out. To the left, breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lifting the chin in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And letting the chin come down as you breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out. Sitting quietly and contemplating a balanced perspective that we are developing through this practice, strengthening our own perspective but expanding it to include other perspectives, developing a higher understanding, an understanding that is based on conscious choice, so that we are bringing into play our ability to respond as a human being, which is all about response ability or responsibility. Rather than reacting, learning to respond in a conscious manner, dissipating the stress coming out of the threat perception, enabling us to do what we need to do, but in a sense of relaxation. And open your eyes, gently relax your feet. If there's any tension in the feet, just shaking them a bit so that if you need to shake them, shaking is good, shaking is waking, shaking is letting go. The Brahma Mudra enables us to have a balanced perspective because the whole stress response starts when you perceive something as being stressful. The whole stress response comes only when you perceive something as being stressful. If you don't, the whole stress response doesn't come in at all. It's about having that break in the dam. Once the break in the dam occurs and the water is now gushing out, as it starts to become a torrential flow, it becomes very difficult to fight it with tissue paper. That's what people are trying to do. Once the stress is manifest, all the hormones are in the system, they are trying to find a way to balance it. The easiest way, and yoga is all about prevention, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam, which is the motto of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram under the logo. Prevent those miseries that have not yet come. And if we change the perception of stress, and we realize that some people come into our life to give us the stress we need to become a better us. I always like to think of the pearl in the oyster. Imagine what that pearl has gone through to become a pearl. Imagine what a diamond has to go through to become a diamond. And that is why the statement, a diamond is just a piece of charcoal that could take the stress well. I say we are all carbon. We are all potential diamonds. We have carbon, so we are potential diamonds because diamonds are just carbon. The carbon that said, I will not take any stress is the tamasika carbon. It became charcoal. Only fit to burn. The rajasika carbon said, give me a little bit but not much. It became graphite to write other people's stories. And the sattvika carbon said, give it all to me, I want to evolve. And it became the diamond it was destined to be. We are all potential diamonds. Swami Vivekananda used to say something that is from the Vedas and Upanishads, that every soul is potentially divine. We are all potentially diamonds. The problem is we are not yet there. Do we make the choice to use the stress to make us better? The stress that can induce the oyster to be formed, the pearl to be formed in the oyster, that diamond to be formed, to sharpen the knife. When you want to sharpen a tool, it takes lot of friction. You have to go against the natural tendency of laziness. That is why it's called parinama tapa. Patanjali says it's a the tapa, it is a suffering often when transformation occurs. Evolutionary journey is not easy. When you want to go on the spiritual path and become who you are to be, the best you that you are to be, it's going to be very, very tough. Because it's parinama tapa, you are going against the current, like the fish, the salmon that has to go back to its nesting source against the current. You are going against the current. And the guna tendencies are, the guna vrittis are going in one way and you are going the other way. Everybody is going towards fast food and you are going towards slow food. Everyone is going through fast yoga and you are going to slow yoga. Everyone is going towards fast life and you are slowing things down in contentment. And sometimes you start to doubt yourself. Maybe they are correct because there are a lot of them. You know, God has two counters. One is prayers wanting something and the other is prayers of gratitude. The gratitude one, they stopped having someone because it was waste of finances. Because nobody ever queued up there. We always want. Do we say thank you to God? So important. So important. If I were God and I'm thankfully not, imagine the job. Bruce Almighty was a good lesson in that. You don't want to be God after that. You know, if people came up to me and always are saying, can I have this, can I have this, or give me this, because I deserve it. You know, that's the worst one. We think we deserve it. My father used to say the universe owes you nothing, you owe the universe everything. Universe has given you life. And still You owe me. God owes me. Huh? Imagine you are God and someone came up and said, thank you for all you have done for me. How good you would feel. That is Ishvara Pranidhana. That is when you can realize the divine is behind everything. A good teacher teaches you how to be. A bad teacher teaches you how not to be. Huh? People come into your life. They may be a good lesson. They may be a bad lesson. But ultimately they are a lesson. And as we learn the lesson, we grow. We become the diamond we are to be. So changing this perception and saying, it is not about something being good or bad, or being painful or non-painful. Patanjali calls it klishta, aklishta. It doesn't matter whether it is painful, non-painful, klishta or aklishta. Has it helped you grow? If so, good. If not, well, maybe you need to have another perspective to see where you could have grown. We may not realize at that moment. In that moment, it is very difficult because we humans have our eyes on the front of the head, but we are strong in hindsight. Yeah? If just we could have that wisdom of hindsight while we are in the moment, wouldn't life be so much easier? That is what Vairagya is. Metacognition is the wisdom of hindsight in the present moment. It's like one of my students yesterday, she came with her wellies. Huh? And I said she was wise the day before. Huh? Huh? It's one of those situations. Wellies day before would have made absolutely beautiful, wise choice. Yesterday? Huh? Huh? We are like that with life. I'll end with a story about what happens to us. Anybody from New Zealand here? Okay. Okay, fine. When I was in New Zealand, I came to know that they had a huge bird. It was a bird that couldn't fly. It was one of those, like an emo ostrich, that type of bird, very fluffy with big feathers, long neck. Looked like a big cow, actually. It was called a moa. Huh? I always say the cows just got the om the other way, mo. Huh? So the cow yogis, yes. So this was called a moa. Now the moa lived in New Zealand before the human beings got there. The Polynesians came in the canoes, before that. And this moa had only one predator, and that predator was giant eagles. So whenever this giant eagle would come, it could kill the moa and then eat it. So the moa said, how do I deal with survival strategy? And so it said, well, if I stand still and put my head down, I look like a big bush and the eagle will get confused. It started practicing this and it worked very well. Because the moa, when it stood still with its head down, looked like a big bush and the eagles went away. So it was very happy. Now the human beings came there. So the human beings had spears with them. And so they started chasing the moa. And how does the moa, what is its survival strategy? Stand still. A still target is much easier to hit, right? And so in a very short while, the moa went extinct. Why did the moa go extinct? Not because of the people getting there. It's not that, oh, humans should not have gone to New Zealand. No, it's not about that. The moa was not able to adapt to the change that had manifested. And we talk about Darwin as survival of the fittest. No. It is the ones who can adapt the best. And to adapt, you need to be responsive. If you are reactive and instinctive, you are bound to fail because you are not able to adapt. And when we can adapt our perspective, when we can adapt our response to the challenges of life, and instead of having something kill us, make us better. My dear mentor in Australia, Dr. John Mumford, used to say, you recover from every illness except the last. Huh? And when you think about it, it's good. Huh? So, and if it's the last, you don't get stressed about it, okay? See, there's only the people who are alive who are stressed, okay? That's why we practice Shavasana. Huh? Huh? And that is why it is so important for us to change our perspective, because if every small thing became a stressor, we will be burnt out. Adrenal fatigue, chronic chronic exhaustion, psychosomatic illnesses will all come in. But if you change what happens in here, the brain that lies between our ears is not there just to fill up space. It is to help us function as a human being, to make choices based on changing our perspective. The last thing we'll do is the instant relaxation technique. And just as everybody likes instant stuff, all you have to do is just put your legs out. You can do it lying down if you want or sitting, and I'll do it standing. But what we are going to do is we are going to tighten. It's called Spanda Nishpanda, tension relaxation coupling. And if you want to lie down, you can do, I don't know, it depends on the space, or sitting. I will do it standing. Standing is not a good idea because if you get too relaxed, you will collapse. What we are going to do is we are going to start tensing from the toes. We are going to tense upwards, and then we will be tensing the hands. I'll guide you through it. And then there's going to be a point you're going to be tensing your face as tense as possible and holding it. And then we are just going to take in a deep breath, and we'll go and just let go. So what you are doing is you are going to the peak of activation, peak of tension, and then you are just going to let go of it, okay? Ready? Fine. Start to tense your toes, your feet, your ankles, the calf muscles, the knee, the thighs, the gluteals, the hips, the abdomen, the chest, the back, the shoulders, your hands, your forearm, elbow. It should lift you off the ground, your shoulders, your neck. Now tense your face as tight as possible. Hold the tension, tension, hold, tension, 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 tension. Take in a deep breath and let go. Spanda, Nishpanda. Tension, relaxation, coupling. Let's do it once more. Tighten your toes, your feet, your ankles, the calf muscles, the knees, the thighs, the gluteal, abdominal region, the chest, the back, the shoulders. Now clenching your fists, your elbows, your shoulders, your neck, and now your face, and holding the tension. Hold, and take in a deep breath and let go. And just lie there for a few seconds. The quickest way to induce the relaxation response, to bring in the parasympathetic vagal response, to help us rest, digest, recuperate, heal. One of the simplest practices can be done in between breaks at work, can be done wherever you are, whenever you feel stressed, bringing out this conscious ability to play with it, to work with it, and to induce a sense of beautiful relaxation. Sorry to bring you out of this moment now, but let's please come back to the sitting slowly. You have all been an amazing team. You have given me so much over the last 3 days, so much of love, so much of energy. When I look out at you and I see those beautiful smiles and I see those, exuberant energies there, feel so excited myself. And whatever happens is always an experience of whoever comes into it. So everyone has made it a wonderful time. I hope you have had as much fun as I have had. So thank you so much. Such a pleasure. We are virtually in time, so if there are any questions, you can meet me individually. I'm here for the rest of the afternoon and have the discussion so that those who want to go and have the lunch are not held back by it. Thank you so much.
Before you all go, can we get a group photo with Dr. Ananda, please?
Yeah.
It would be really
Those who would like to be in a group photo, you please come up. We'll have a small group photo. It will be nice. And if you need some contact details, some of my visiting cards are here. They are the ones without my beard, so it's still me. It's not my younger brother. You all, please come. Maybe we all come up here, so we can have some sitting. We can have some sitting, some standing. This way we'll get a nice group. Now we need someone to get a nice photo there. We all are going to look so beautiful. Such a beautiful, responsive group of humans. Isn't that what we want to be? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, wherever. Yes, we find a place.
Me in the middle.
Okay, that's Jeremy, the photographer's orders. And
This is
We-
where he says your camera's gone off.
this is the moment we do the very exciting mantra for the best photo, which is we go A B C D E. Okay, A B C D E. Beautiful. So wonderful. So.